Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Today I'm so excited to be bringing you another romance recommendations video, and today I'm bringing you secret relationships. So whether they're secret for family feud or forbidden and taboo reasons, whether it is a short-term secret type thing or one that's been going on for years, I am excited to be bringing you some secret relationships. Now, any of the books that I'm about to mention in this video, you can find links to the Amazon page for the book down below. If you end up purchasing through that link, it does help out the channel, so I very much appreciate it. Or if you would like to support the channel using my channel memberships or Patreon, that would be greatly helpful. But also just leaving a like or subscribing to the channel helps me out too. So enough of that self-promo stuff. Let's get into these recommendations. And I have a big stack. I actually own a lot of these. So let's just start going through this stack. So we have The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. Now this is a ex's father romance. I actually have a few of those in the stack because those are ones that definitely lean to the forbidden / the secret side of it. This is one that I feel like doesn't get brought up too much anymore, even though this series still has books coming out in it. This is The Nashville Neighborhood. This one actually has like the heroine just like breaking up with the hero, and then she ends up, I can't remember if she stops by one more time to the house or whatever, but her and her ex's dad start hooking up. And the dad in this case, Dr. Lowe, he like sees how his son treated her and that it was just horrible the way that he had been treating her. And so he's really like disappointed in his son that he would act that way with her. And yeah, when things start happening, he does feel very guilty, but he also then kind of has that aspect of like, well, my son didn't cherish her when he had the chance, and like I will definitely cherish her. So this one also has a really hot role play scene in it where they act out a time when she had been underage. And he had like wanted her, but he knew how taboo it was. And so they actually recreate the night for prom, which I thought was really hot. But everything is like legal in this. It's just a fact of like, you know, spicy times. Spicy role play, being naughty with it. So as I said, we'll just kind of stick with the ex's dad scenario with this right here. And we also have Birthday Girl, which I feel like everybody knows about. But you know what? Sometimes people don't, and you still need to bring up these books because who knows? Maybe someone doesn't. Maybe I'm the one who gets to share Birthday Girl with someone. But this was such a taboo book to me when I first read it, and it really just like isn't at this point. But in this we have Jordan and Pike. And Pike really hadn't been a part of his son's life at all. He was really kind of kept away from his son as he was growing up. And so he actually runs into Jordan when they're at a movie theater. They end up both seeing a movie and they have this kind of crazy chemistry. You know, he doesn't know what her age is and she doesn't know what his age is. And they have this connection. And then she ends up needing a place to stay because they, like, both her and her at the time boyfriend get kicked out of their apartment. So they move in with Pike when she is still his son's girlfriend. And she really needs this place to live to be at while she is working and like savings for school and everything. Like she needs this. And so when she has a huge like fight with her boyfriend and they break up, Pike like lets her still stay there. So now it's just her and now her ex-boyfriend's dad staying in the house together, and things quickly start to heat up. So it feels so weird to describe this book when I've been reading it for so long, but there we go. And then another ex-boyfriend's dad will just share Tempt by Melanie Harlow. This one is really beautiful, and this is another case of like, you know, they don't know that they have this link at all, because in this one, the hero doesn't even know that he has a son. He's just at a hotel bar when he sees this beautiful woman being hit on by this creep, and so he steps in and plays knight in shining armor, and he's like, I'm sorry if I stepped on your toes, I just couldn't help myself. And they have this crazy chemistry with each other. and they end up having a one-night stand that is just out of this world. So like they exchange numbers, but they don't really do much more than that because they live very far away from each other. It just so happens the heroine is helping plan a wedding of her ex-boyfriend. And this ex-boyfriend reaches out to his father, who doesn't know he's his father. And when he reaches out to Zach, Zach ends up coming to town to meet his son and his son's fiance. And then they meet the wedding planner, who is, I think this is Winnie or Millie. Is it Millie? It's Millie. And they realize what a tricky position they're in because they haven't been able to stop thinking about each other. They have this crazy chemistry, but now is this going to mess up this relationship with his son now? And he lives so far away anyway. Like, is it even a good idea? So this one was so full of things. This secret relationship just made my guts like ache a little bit too. And it was so sweet. Like, this is my favorite Melanie Harlow that I've read. It's my favorite. It's beautiful. And they definitely keep it a secret for quite a while, for sure. Okay, some other ones here. So we have Twisted Games by Anna Fong. This is kind of a forbidden romance between a princess and her bodyguard, and they try their very best to keep this a secret. This is about Princess Bridget, who, when this story begins, she's in line for the throne, but not really. Her older brother is supposed to be the one in line for it, but she still needs a bodyguard. And so we have Reese Larson, who becomes her like full-time bodyguard and is with her all the time. Their chemistry is absolutely bonkers, but of course they're trying to keep very strict like lines between them. But you know, that becomes difficult for them, and they have to keep this a secret because the scandal of her with her bodyguard would be so much. And also there's no like hope for them because he is a commoner, and when things change that move around her place in succession, you know, she's going to need to make a political marriage. She can't be with her bodyguard. But, you know, Anna Huang knows how to bring about an HEA that is very satisfying for us anyway. All right, then we have a family rivals is where this secret relationship comes in. So this is Rewriting the Stars. This is book 6 in the Bailey Brothers series by Claire Kingsley. And this one is a love between the Baileys and the Havens. And we have Annika, and this one is Levi, who they have been friends secretly since high school, actually, even though their families have this huge rivalry going on. And she's back in town with a young son, actually, and like they have had kind of a texting relationship off and on through the years, and now she's back in town, and this chemistry they've had that they've been able to keep at a distance because literally of the physical distance between them, they're now seeing each other in town and running into each other, and they know that neither of their families would be cool with these two being together. And she has a bunch of older brothers who would just not take kindly to this. But this is their chance to unite two families and to smooth over a feud that has lasted for generations. So this was a really great book. I enjoyed this one so much, and I can't wait for the next series, which will focus on the Haven Brothers. That one's coming soon. All right, then we have Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. This one is about a hockey player and a flight attendant, and I mean, basically, like, she isn't even interested in him in the beginning anyway, because she's not interested in a playboy like him. This one is Xander's and Stevie, but he just, like, is a dog with a bone. He will not get off of it. But the thing is, there's a no fraternization policy between the flight attendants of this private plane for the hockey team and between them, and there are people watching, and she could lose her job. She really needs this job. And so, you know, Xander's, he keeps pursuing her, and she's like, you are going to get me fired so that you can have a new toy to play with. And that's just so, like, insensitive to me. But, of course, how it works out is beautiful. Love it. This one comes before The Right Move. If you hear a lot of people talk about The Right Move, Mile High comes first. And Stevie is actually Ryan Shea's sister. So you do see Ryan Shea in this one first. But they are keeping their relationship a secret to help her keep her job. And also, he has a persona for the media as a playboy and bad boy. Like, that's his persona. And we don't want to, he doesn't want to ruin that either. And we have another hockey one with a secret relationship, and this one is Play With Me, and this one is about Jenny and Garrett. And this one is a secret because it is brother's best friend as well as brother's like coworker slash player, you know, and there's just this crazy chemistry between these two, and they both really try to resist it, but they keep ending up in the same places as each other. And then they end up being neighbors because she ends up her brother gets her own apartment in the same building as Garrett, and Garrett is kind of horrified by this because he's trying to keep his distance from Jenny, who he feels so drawn to, and now she's living in his building, and his friend is asking him to check in on his sister, where he's like, can't you just leave me alone? I don't want to get sucked into this. Yeah, and it's something that her brother would be very hurt if she was dating Garrett, which he needs to get over it, but they do keep it a secret for a big reason is he doesn't want to mess up the chemistry on their team, and he also doesn't want his friend to like hate him for dating his sister. So there was that. Then we have another bodyguard romance, and this one was one of the first romances I read, so I love bringing this up. This is Damaged Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and this one is the first in their like Bodyguards and Billionaires or whatever this series ended up being called. I have since fallen off of this series because it just got like too wild for me with so many couples that are promised but haven't happened yet, and it was just a lot. But this was before I knew any of the drama that was going to happen. I actually read this book and the first like 4 that were out before I ever read the Holloway sister series. I didn't even like know about it because I was reading romance and this one popped up. It became very clear to me very quickly what I had dipped my toe into, and this universe has like 20 plus books in it at this point. But this one just started out with these two who, one is a billionaire, his family is like Hollywood royalty or reality star royalty, and he ends up getting a bodyguard who I think he's like 10 years older than him. He also used to be like he had been going to medical school, but then he ends up being a bodyguard for his young charge, who they have had this like flirty flirt with each other for a long time. But the one hero, he doesn't like to commit to anyone because it's just too much of a risk to let someone be so close to him and integrated in with his family. He's very private. So yeah, so when feelings really start building between the two of them, they definitely keep it a secret. So there are actually 4 books in this series that focus on this couple. There's 3 books, and then there's one later on in the series that like circles back to them, if I remember correctly. But I still have such a soft spot for these boys. I really would like to go back and visit this at some point, but dipping a toe back into that series just honestly exhausts me to think about because there's so much going on with it that it's like exhausting to think about, but I love it. All right, then I just have a few more to mention here. So we have Game Changer by Rachel Reed. This one's actually another hockey romance, and this one is an romance. And so we have one hero who's working at like a juice bar, and we have another hero who's a hockey player and has had to keep his sexuality a secret, just because he very much fears the homophobia of the hockey league, and he's afraid of losing his position as like captain and like look up to on the team. But he loves to go get his certain juice from this really cute barista whenever he is in town, and they slowly begin this relationship with each other. And this one was very beautiful. It was very angsty and sweet, and there are definitely like other ones in this series I know people love more, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was very cute. And their secret relationship is really hard on the two of them. This is one that the angst of keeping it a secret is like very heavy over them all. Then I also have Mercy by Sarah Kate, and this is actually best friend's son. So this one, if you've read Praise, which I mean, who hasn't at this point, that hero and his girlfriend, there is an ex-boyfriend and a son from that book. His name is Beau. And Beau is on a lot of people's shit list after Praise. But we do see some redemption for him through the series. He's very good with the heroine's little sister from the first one. And he ends up in a secret relationship with his dad's business partner and friend, Maggie, who becomes his dom. They both take the sexy quiz and the kink quiz, and they end up getting paired. He is listed as a submissive and a brat, and she's listed as a dom, and that she would be a good brat tamer. And so they end up giving it a try. They end up deciding to try. And I like this because they're both learning it together. Like, though Maggie has been a part of this business, she's never really given in to the kinkier sides of it. She just sees it as a good business. And, you know, it's not like she's shy or anything about it, but she hasn't really given in. And so by taking this quiz and really like diving into how their kinks match each other, you know, she could find her perfect match. It just happens to be her friend's son, which is a risky move to take for sure. All right, and then the last one I want to mention with a secret relationship is The Quarterback by Steph Bohrer. I read this recently and it just gutted me. It was so beautiful. I can't wait to read more Steph Bohrer. This one is a football romance, and this one is a best friend's dad. It's also neither of them are gay at the beginning of this, or neither of them has been with other men that have felt. But when the hero's son and his boyfriend go away for the summer, and then our hero, the young hero, ends up getting hurt, our older hero, sorry that I forgot the names, there's too many names I had to remember for this video, he steps in to kind of look after him, check in on him, and they become closer, you know, first just like hanging out because they miss the other guys, and then the chemistry between them builds. And when they finally give in to this, they both have it in their heads that they're not like good enough for the other, and they would hold the other back. And so they keep this a secret, and it's just tearing them both up. And when the truth finally comes out, there are some pretty big ramifications for this, but it's also like they deserve happiness. They deserve a beautiful life together, and they both just have to realize that they deserve it and that they don't need to hold back for, you know, not being good enough or not deserving of the person. They deserve to take what they want. And when they do, it's so beautiful. Steph Bohrer, be prepared with the tissues when you read one of his books, okay? I'm just saying. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this. Those are going to be my recommendations for secret relationships. Let me know some of your favorites down below. Again, these ones, as you can tell, really overlap with a lot of other things, you know, like exes, dad, as well as like best friend's kid. Like those are already very like forbidden, but I just wanted to put them under secret relationships to give us a different tagline for them if you want to look them up. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I do have links to all of these down below and ways to support the channel. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.